welcome to this lesson. In this particular lesson, we are going to be covering descriptive English for NABARD Grade A. Okay, let's see. Now, let us start with letter writing first. Okay, now in letter writing, what are some of the points that you need to keep in mind so that you ace this particular area? The very first point is that you should be avoiding spelling and grammar errors. Okay, this is an obvious statement. It's an English descriptive paper. Do not have spelling grammar errors. Okay, so of course you're not going to be making them intentionally, but when you're focusing too much on the content side, you might not prioritize grammar. Okay, so that cannot be forgiven. Take care of grammar, take care of the right word usages, take care of the spellings too. Okay, number one. Second, no extra marks on question selection. So some students think that, hey, if I select a complicated question or if I select something that is relevant for today, all right, I might get more marks. Nothing of that sort. So if you have given choices, select the choice which you can answer better, which you think you have more content, better content, you can analyze better, you can write better. Just take that and write on it. Okay, simple. Next, please try to cover all angles. I know that you may not have that many words to play around and completely attack a particular point through all the angles possible, but try to keep your points complete, okay, to whatever extent you can. All right, don't simply put out something where the reader feels that, hey, why have you even written that? Okay, so at least mention the reason for stating some particular point. All right, now use starters like these. Okay, please, kindly, okay, kindly refer to this. Okay, please act on these points. Always use these starters. Okay, it can cut down your words, but simply using it, simply stating a particular action without using please, kindly, especially when you're instructing someone, comes across as rude and unprofessional. Okay, and in letter writing, you should use these words. All right. Next, get close to the word limit. So don't be off. So if you have to write 150 words, don't write for 90 words, nor should you be writing for 250 words. Be close. Okay, you should be writing below it. So you should maybe go up to say 140, 145. That is the best point to be in. Now, how do you reach that? How do you know that you reach that and you complete the letter properly? It comes with practice. So only when you practice more, you know that my introduction paragraph is going to take so many words, the body is going to take so much, conclusion is going to take so much. That feel you will get only when you have practiced more. Okay, so no substitute to practice. Okay. Okay. So now let's see what's the next one that we have in store. Don't have rhetorical questions. Now let me move to the other side. Okay. Now don't have rhetorical questions, as in you should not waste your words by saying something like, you know how difficult it is when there's no power and all that. Okay. State it clearly that it gets extremely difficult, especially for students and working professionals when power is not available in my city. Okay. Use full complete sentences, but don't have rhetorical questions. Okay, very quickly, I want to talk to you about the body paragraph that you would be using in your letters. See, in the very first paragraph, what you should do is introduce yourself. Okay, introduce yourself and indicate the purpose. Because you have very less words to play around with, get to the purpose very, very quickly. Okay, so introduce yourself, one line, get to the purpose quickly, indicate any previous communication if applicable, if referred in your question prompt. Second paragraph, elaborate and give details. Okay, inform what's the problem, give advice based on the question. Third is conclude with whatever is the call for action. One major mistake that students do for letter to editors, people say, please take immediate action. Okay, now editors cannot take action. Okay, editors will only publish your problem in their daily, in their paper. So always your final paragraph should be, please publish this in your paper so that authorities take necessary action. Okay, this is a big mistake students make, so I just want to put that across. Now, at the end, just say yours faithfully, sincerely. Don't write your actual name. Just write ABC or whatever is mentioned in the question. Okay. So these are some very quick tips and hacks around letter writing. Now, let's go to essay writing. Okay. Essay writing, once again, same as informed previously, select the right question choice. Okay. No points for selecting one over the other. Select the one that you can write well and the one that you can express well. You should have content and you should have delivery. So if you have these two, just select that topic. Okay. Next, plan your content before beginning. So it should never be the case that you're writing and then you've run out of content and then you're thinking, hey, what do I write now? So never be in that situation. You should plan very clearly as to this is how I'm going to approach my essay. This is what I'm going to write. Execution is the easiest. Okay, planning is the difficult part. So plan quickly as to what you're going to be writing in terms of content. Okay, and then you're going to be writing really soon because you don't have to think actively now. Okay. Similarly, plan your structure as well. So if you're going to be writing about the positive side, if you're going to choose a positive side of something, that it should be heavy on the positive side, you should introduce something negative as well. But then you should downplay those negatives and say that they're not that big factors, right? So you should be planning the structure also, that the first paragraph is going to be about the positives of something, the next paragraph is going to be around the negatives, and how you're going to downplay the negatives, and then how you're going to conclude, right? So you have to plan your structure as well. Now, grammatical correctness. This, again, I'm repeating, it's an English descriptive paper. Essay writing, it has to be grammatically correct. So don't ignore grammar, don't ignore vocabulary, okay? You need to focus on the English part of the English descriptive paper, okay? Now, correct word usages. Remember that just to use some complicated word, don't use it for the sake of it if you don't know the meaning. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm sounding a bit blunt, but if you do not know the meaning of a particular word, refrain from using it. Because if you use it incorrectly, you will lose marks drastically. Okay, yes, if you use a good word, the examiner does get pleased with that word that you've used it to convey something really precise. But if you use it incorrectly, you will also lose marks in the same manner. So be very careful. Okay, last one, you have to be within the word limit. So that's why these 2 points are really important, your content and structure. You should never write for 200 words and then think, how am I going to close this essay? Okay, be very clear in your head and then execute. Okay, now fully developed idea. So whenever you're introducing an idea, try to give examples, try to give supporting data, try to break that well. Okay, try to break if there are any assumptions for that particular point, explain them. Tell them how concrete, how solid your particular point is. Okay, with that, your analysis will be stronger. Okay, and you will fetch better scores. Now, I want to quickly talk about the introduction part alone because, of course, descriptive is a very vast topic and we may not be able to cover everything. But what's really important to check is the introduction. The way you start will catch the attention of the reader and your examiner in this case. Okay, so number one, define the topic in first 1 or 2 key terms. So you will always have a long topic. There would be key terms that you can identify, pull them, define them. That is one way of starting an essay. Okay, what's another way of starting? You can start the essay with some catchy relevant quote. The key word here is relevant quote. Okay, very, very important, relevant quote. So if it's something around water crisis, you can quote by saying how everyone thinks that the Third World War would be around water. And then you can say that the crisis in India is so harsh that probably the starting point of that war would be India. Okay, so something like that. So that would really catch the examiner's attention. Okay, or any reader for that matter. So, but remember, it has to be relevant. Don't quote something just for the sake of it. Okay, if you have a bunch of quotes that you have memorized, but it does not match with the question, okay, don't now force fit some quote. Okay, be careful. Next, introduce the body. So your last line of your introduction paragraph should introduce the body. Okay, say we need to analyze, look into, explore these options to come to a conclusion, like that. Okay, so introduce what you're going to do in the body paragraphs. All right, so that was about essay writing. Now let's come to Précis Writing. This is what students have more problems in, I believe, when it comes to descriptive English. So usually your task is to reduce the passage by 1/3, right? No big deal. Okay, it's not as difficult as you think it is. Why? Let's see. Number one, if you get this, if you are able to identify the main message of the author, your job is half done. Okay, you need to identify what is that crux, what is that core message that the author is trying to give you. If you're able to identify that, all you have to do is now build a précis around that core message. Simple. Okay, now this is what I told you. Your main idea message should be the crux of that passage. Now, if the word limit permits, then you can move on to explanations, examples, and all that. Okay, if the word limit permits. So your priority should be the crux, and then you build your entire précis based on the other points. Also avoid unnecessary examples and analogies. Okay, so remember, because words is the ultimate priority here, you should be very careful as to what you're going to keep in your Précis and what you're going to omit. So if you have supporting examples and analogies that really don't support the main point, okay, or they do support it weakly. Now there are 3-4 examples in the main passage. Just take one of them maybe, okay? Avoid all the unnecessary ones. Okay, never write your own opinion. Very, very important. Never get emotionally attached. Okay, engage actively with the passage, but don't get emotionally attached that in your Précis you ended up writing your own opinion. Okay, very, very big point, this one. Never write anything that is out of the main passage. Okay, and then so this is basically a check. Okay, so can I write everything that you have written as your Précis by just taking something from the main passage? So that should be the check. All right, so can I validate every single point that you have written in the Précis? If the answer is yes, then you're okay. But if the answer is no, then you have written something, you have basically put your own opinion. So be careful. Okay. All right, so let's talk about reading comprehension. In reading comprehension, you have 3 skills: skimming, scanning, guessing. Now, what are these 3 words? Let's see. Now, skimming means if this is your entire text, okay, you're going to very quickly read through the entire text. You're not going to go word by word. That is a big mistake. So when you're going through the entire text very quickly, now if a new sentence starts with, for example, okay, skip that part and then go to the next one. Okay, read all the main points. Now, once you have done that, then you start reading the question. If the question asks some specific information, okay, scan it, which means go back to the exact point where this is mentioned and read about it in detail now. So now you scan, okay, and then now you develop your answer and put it. Simple, okay. The last one is guessing. Now with guessing, what I mean is there are going to be words that you will not understand in the passage, however strong your vocabulary is. Okay, so guessing means there are going to be some words that you will not understand. Okay, okay, how much ever strong your vocabulary is, there would be some words that you don't understand. So what do? Do you panic? No, you simply take a calculated guess. Okay, based on the root words or based on the context, take a calculated guess of what that word could be and move further. Okay, eventually the entire context of the passage will make that word irrelevant, maybe. Okay, or maybe just it'll have only small significance. So move forward, don't panic if you're not able to understand something. Okay, but there's of course no replacement for understanding the whole passage. Therefore, you should always read actively. Okay, now I'll just move downwards. Okay, yeah. Now never copy paste. So remember, in your descriptive answers, never copy paste the entire paragraph. So if that's the case, if there is a question, you can write the whole passage, right? And then your answer will definitely be right because it's always from the passage. Okay, but always express in your own words. Okay, even if it is a straightforward one, express it, reword it a bit, paraphrase it a bit. Okay, and express. Okay, now the other part is that when you have a question, don't just jump the gun and go to that particular point and borrow it and write it. It might be the case that the answers are spread across various parts of the entire passage. Okay, so it's very important that you're engaging with the passage actively. So when you read something, always make friends with whatever you're reading. Okay, don't read it for the sake of it mechanically. Okay, engage with it. Okay, all right, so this is what's happening. These are the pros, these are the cons, this is what the author thinks. Okay, when you engage actively, you know that if there is a particular question, the answer can be in different parts of your passage. Okay, very important. Okay, and finally, if your opinion is not asked, as usual, refrain from giving your own opinion, your own suggestion, unless asked explicitly. Okay, specifically. All right, now we have a very detailed NABARD Grade A Phase 2 online course. As you can see, we have 230 plus video lessons, 230 plus study notes, 4,000 plus practice questions, 7 full-length practice tests, 5 descriptive mock tests with personalized feedback, okay, live doubt clarifying classes that take place, and interview guidance as well. Okay, so this is the program to get into if you're serious about cracking the NABARD exam. Okay, I will also be taking a few classes, so I really look forward to be seeing you guys there too. All right, so do like the video, do leave your comments if you have any, do subscribe and do hit the bell icon, because each time we get these lessons for you, you will get a notification. Okay, do check out iExamB courses which are available on Amazon. Take care, all the best, keep practicing.